Christmas cleaning with the File Coast. So, what have we been up to today? So we had a care home this morning, usual 4 weekly clean on a care home, which is nice. So we've tipped up with 2 vans and we've cleaned them, and then we've gone our separate ways. And I've gone in my off in my van, and I've done 5 houses on 1 street, and then I had a gutter clearing job this afternoon on a caravan, which I thought was going to be an absolute cluster, and it turned up and it wasn't actually that bad. And then Carl's gone off to do, he's got about 14 houses to do, which is nothing. He'll be done by now, to be fair. It's about 1 o'clock now. Yeah, about 1 o'clock. So yeah, nice chill day today. All in all, it brought in about 350 quid. I'll be done for lunchtime for about 1 o'clock now. So, you know, done and dusted. I've gone and had a look at a couple of some new sites, some new housing estates that are popping up round near us, and I've been speaking to the facilities team and looking at basically taking on the window cleaning jobs for the people that have just moved in. It's about a dozen bungalows with dormers, new builds that have just gone down. It's so new that they've not even put the gate. You know, it's a gated community, and they've not even put the gates on yet. So get in there before they do. So yeah, I got a question from David, who's in Wales, Cardiff, I think. Better not take the mic too much. You might turn around and say, "Oh, come over here and say that." How have you prepared? How did you prepare for winter, and how do you find working during the winter time, cleaning windows? It's a good question. As usual, we get some cracking questions, don't you? But how do you prepare for the winter? Bring a coat and a sense of humour. But joking aside, in terms of the equipment, we would run the hot water system a lot more. We'd leave heaters in the van overnight, and hopefully the fuse doesn't blow up. And so I did another video a while back where I put the heater in my van, thinking, ha, I'm going to go there to my van tomorrow morning, it'll be nice and toasty and all the water won't be frozen. And then I went down there and it was a freaking ice cube, because the fuse had popped in the extension lead. Great. So yeah, just leave the heaters out, make sure that the water stays as you know, as warm as it can stay. I probably do have I use some more chemicals than I would normally use, to be honest with you. Things like razor wash, things like there's a glass cleaning product that we use, I forget the name of it now, but it's really good. I get this cleaning fluid for glass, it's glass cleaner, and it's like a little capful in a bucket, and honest to God, it's like rocket juice. It's brilliant. From HLS cleaning, they make all the cleaning fluids local to me. They're literally around the corner from my house, and they're always on hand to sort of provide good cleaning fluids, etc. So I'll be sure to leave a link in the description. But yeah, I use a few more chemicals than I usually would, just to keep the brush, you know, sort of, you know, things like screen wash and stuff like that from blading, or if I'm using Waterford pole, then I'll either bring the reels indoors to keep them, stop them from freezing up, and that's basically it, to be honest with you. I do hear a lot of people when they've started up and all this sort of stuff, and they've you know, in all honesty, I was watching a video from Ken Taylor, and he's put up a video about how much it costs sort of to start a window cleaning business and all this sort of stuff. He's been asked by one of his subscribers how much it would cost. I'll leave a link in the description to his channel. It's quite a funny chap, to be fair. But it was interesting because, to be fair, he made a really valid point, and that is that some people would spend lots and lots of money in a new van, you know, Waterford pole system and all this sort of stuff, and they get to actually winter, you know, they'll get to winter, and they'll be like, oh, well, I don't really like working in the winter. But they've gone to all that expense in building and growing their business to end up putting their stuff on eBay. You know, so it's working in the winter is no joke. Sometimes, I mean, even in the middle of autumn, when that wind picks up, sometimes, you know, if it's an easterly wind that picks up, you know, it's going to cut straight through you. So, you know, I would just advise that, you know, you have the right equipment, wear gloves. I tend to wear boots in winter for the simple reason that A, it keeps my feet warm, excuse me, and B, it keeps keeps the water off your feet, particularly when people's gardens get really bogging and stuff like that. If you've got to walk through people's gardens after it's rained and all this sort of stuff, and you know, if you're in trainers, then you're gonna get cold. You know, so I've got a nice thick pair of boots that I wear in the winter. I've got a nice coat which is windproof and waterproof, and I wear these these monstrosities. So these are cheap waterproof gloves, and I probably end up getting like a pair every year. But they're like £7, something like that, something daft. I do know people that have wore sealskin gloves, and they are good. But I find that for some reason my middle finger, probably because it sticks out, my middle finger at the end, it just breaks the glove, and then I always end up having 4 really warm fingers and one that's not. So, you know, it's just not. But these here are ideal. I mean, sealskin gloves are about, it's like £25-30 each, something daft like that. And these things here, they're like, you know, nothing, cheap and cheerful, like £7. But yeah, working in winter is no joke. And I would, unless you're really motivated to sort of grow your business and all this sort of stuff, and be truly self-employed, I honestly, I would probably give window cleaning a bit of a miss. If you're not good at working outside, then I wouldn't, in my humble opinion. But I've always been in a bit of an outdoor type. I don't never mind, you know, being cold and all this sort of stuff. And the thing is, the good thing about, especially with things like window cleaning and stuff like that, is that you tend to have the option of, you clean a house with, you know, sort of your ladders and stuff like that, and then after a while you're back in the van. Before you know it, you're warming up again, and then you get to the next job, and then you get out, and then you get cold, and then clean your windows, and once you've done, you put your ladder back on the van, and you drive on. So it's like, you know, it's not the end of the world, because you've always got the opportunity to put the heater on and keep yourself warm. So yeah, it's yeah, winter is certainly a time, you know, it does separate those that are truly motivated to grow a business from those that see it as easy money in the summer, because it separates the men from the boys, to be fair. When it comes to winter, you do get a lot of people just chin it off, and I think this is why, for me, October time, believe it or not, October and January are the 2 busiest periods for taking on customers, for the simple fact that at the end of September, when the weather starts to turn a little bit, and it just, not by much, but it just gets a little bit windier, it just gets a little bit more, you know, it's not summer anymore, you know what I mean, it starts to get colder, and people start missing appointments, stop coming to clean the windows and all this sort of stuff, and then by October they'll have missed a second clean. By the end of October, they may have even missed 3 cleans. The customer is just absolutely threaded at this point, and rings, you know, they get onto Google then and go, all right, find me another window cleaner, whoop, straight down the list. You know what I mean? So I think that is you know, it's key. I wouldn't, you know, as Ken mentioned in his video, I'm not trying to ping off his video, but as Ken mentioned in his video, is that if you're going to start a window cleaning business, start cheap, start low. You know what I mean? Use a ladder and all this sort of stuff, you know. Invest in sort of the cheapest kit that you need to get the job done. When I very first started, I had a bucket and did bungalows, saved some money up, and then I got a ladder, and then I did, you know, bigger houses, saved some more money, and then, you know, and you know, after about 12 months, I thought to myself, right, I'll get a trolley, a window cleaning trolley from Streamline. You know, fantastic. And that was about £1,000. You know, so then I bought that, and then I got more customers because I could do more houses quicker without going up and down ladders. I was literally, you know, running a line from this trolley out to a house, clean the windows, back in the van, onto the next. And I could cut through. I mean, I could clean 4 houses an hour off a ladder on my own, you know, to a good standard, you know, sort of thing. No problem. But I can easily get, if you know, depending if they're close to each other, you can easily get 6, 7 houses an hour done with a water-fed pole to, you know, the same standard, if not better, in my humble opinion. I'm going to probably trigger some people, I've no doubt, but, you know, that's the way I see it, and that's the way I've grown. That's why I've been able to grow my business, is because I've transitioned to water-fed pole. But if you're just starting out, do not be thinking you can go out and, you know, even if your credit score permits, do not. I honest to God, I would not recommend anybody go and get a water-fed pole system and a brand new van and all. I would never recommend it, for the simple reason that, you know, it's a lot of money. And if you've not tried and tested it and experienced the highs and the lows of being a self-employed window cleaner, you have every chance of realising, well, actually, this is not really for me. And you feel now that you are trapped into, you know, paying extortionate amounts, you know what I mean, for machinery to do a job that you absolutely hate. You know what I mean? So I would not spend lots and lots of money on this water-fed pole. You know, I would not spend lots and lots of money on a fixed tank system in your van, etc. If you do want to do water-fed pole and start off water-fed pole, then fine, buy a trolley second-hand off eBay or something like that. Or if you want something that works, you know, something that's spot on, that's under warranty and all this sort of stuff, at the absolute most, I would probably get a window cleaning trolley system for about £1,000, right? And then if it's not for you, you can sell it. It's a lot easier to sell a window cleaning trolley than it is to sell a tank system that's fixed into the back of a van, unless you're going to sell the van as well, but then you've got to settle up your finance and keep it simple. You know, until you know the full ins and outs, the highs and the lows of being self-employed and being your own boss and running a window cleaning business, then honest to God, I really, really wouldn't. I would strongly, you know, discourage anybody from, you know, outlaying masses of, you know, thousands. You could spend 20, 30, 40,000 pounds, no dramas at all, on a van and water-fed pole system. I've digressed a bit there, but yeah, like I said, I'll leave the link in the description to Ken's channel. Is a good channel, to be fair, and yeah, I hope that's answered your question, David from Wales. But yeah, it's not for the faint of heart. It's not. But if you prepare properly, and you've got the right attitude and you've got the right sort of clothing, I don't see why you can't make a success of it. It's all up here, you know what I mean? So okay, so I'm going to enjoy this lovely sunshine in my back garden, and I shall see you all in the next video. All the very best, peeps. Take care.